Hello again, $3 million Caulfield Guineas. And while there were 4 Group 1s on offer at Caulfield, the real cash was at Randwick, where the $10 million Everest was run.
Some needed convincing, but with more than $17.5 million up for grabs between Caulfield and Randwick, owners and trainers were champing at the bit to taste Group 1 glory, and a major upset was brewing in the Caulfield Guineas.
Mighty Boss takes the lead. It's a massive boil-over.
Paying 100 to 1, owners, jockey Michael Walker and trainer Mick Price couldn't contain their excitement.
A little bit of magic.
In Sydney, they came from far and wide for the richest race on turf, and the $10 million Everest didn't disappoint. Redzel conquered the pinnacle of Australian sprinting.
It's definitely right up there with the Melbourne Cup win, that's for sure.
For owner Pete Pyrus, who's battling cancer, it was emotional, and it also meant much more than the $5.8 million for father-son trainers Pete and Paul Snowden.
We've got a very special bond, me and Dad. I don't think anyone has what they got, so very happy.
Come on, Peter.
That's the best by far.
Francesca Kumani's Galo Chop led from start to finish to win the $1 million Caulfield Stakes.
Galo Chop holding on. Johannes Vermeer just doesn't get there.
The Darren Weir-trained gelding will now take on Winks in the Cox Plate, but not before some big celebrations.
Will he be on the drink tonight? Oh, 100%.
Young trainer Aaron Purcell's first Group 1 runner was a Group 1 winner.
Aloysia won the 1,000 guineas.
Yeah, isn't it bloody awesome?
And Weir-trained Japanese stallion Tozen Stardom is now worth around $30 million and bound for the Cox Plate after winning the Group 1 Toorak Handicap.
Well, Michael Felgate is live trackside at Caulfield, and Michael, there's drama surrounding the favourite for next week's Caulfield Cup.
That's right, Sean Bonnevale, who is currently a $5.50 favourite for the Caulfield Cup. She ran unplaced today in the Group 1 Caulfield Stakes, and subsequently it's been found that she is lame in one of her front legs. She also has a cut to the pastern on one of her hind legs. Now, I've spoken to trainer Murray Baker. He's not overly concerned. A lot will depend on how she pulls up tomorrow morning, but she will need to undergo a vet test and get a clearance before she is able to run in next Saturday's Caulfield Cup. You mentioned Darren Weir, what a day. He has 3 of the first 5 favourites in next week's Caulfield Cup, and Tozen Stardom heading into a clash with Winks. And Michael Walker, he won that Caulfield Guineas. He got suspended for 10 meetings. I don't think he'll really care too much, Sean. It was an amazing day.
Excellent. Thanks, Michael.
Controversy by being held in the middle of Melbourne's Spring Carnival. But it's proved a hit with racegoers. A crowd of more than 30,000 turned out at Randwick.
There's a flashy new entrant on Australia's racing calendar, and it's raised the stakes of an age-old rivalry.
We're normally in the shadows this time of the year to Melbourne. This is putting us back on the map, so fantastic.
The Melbourne Cup's 3,200 metres, this is 1,200 metres. Ours is $10 million, theirs is only 6. So, you know, we've got the richest race in Australia and we've got the richest race on turf in the world.
A festive crowd of more than 30,000 gathered for the inaugural running of the Everest at Randwick. The race was contested by 12 horses, nominated by slot holders who paid a $1.8 million entry fee to cover the next 3 years. Champion sprinter Chautauqua was among the favourites for the 1,200-metre race, but slipped to last out of the gates. Hootson led the field as they turned for home, but it was the red flash of Redzel with Karen McAvoy on board that burst clear. The connections were ecstatic. In less than 70 seconds, their horse had won $5.8 million.
And whenever you win a big race, it's a huge buzz, but this has got an extra cherry on the top, and it's definitely right up there with the Melbourne Cup win, that's for sure.
From a race in its first year to one first held in 1881, the Caulfield Guineas is one of the jewels of Melbourne's spring calendar. And it sprung a huge surprise as 100 to 1 outsider Mighty Boss galloped home to win.
It's a massive boil-over.
In a program packed with 3 other Group 1 races, Aloysia won the 1,000 guineas, Galo Chop held on to win the Caulfield Stakes, and in the Toorak Handicap, Tozen Stardom emerged victorious. Damien McIver, ABC News.